Hello, everyone, welcome back to the channel Future Force. Please subscribe and like my videos. In today's episode, we unfold a moment that has shaken the modern air war to its core. The roar of engines, the thunder of explosions, the calm before the storm, all set the stage for one of the most devastating and precisely executed ambushes in recent history. Ukraine, armed with strategy, intelligence, and determination, set a trap so flawless that it upended the balance of air power in just one fateful strike. Russian aircraft, confident in their dominance, entered a zone they believed secure, only to be met with a meticulously coordinated storm of firepower that would crush their operational strength and alter the psychological landscape of this conflict. From the outside, the scene appeared deceptively ordinary. Open farmlands stretched toward the horizon, the skies painted in a cold, indifferent blue. Villages slept, roads were quiet, and the soft breeze carried no sign of the chaos to come. Yet beneath this calm veneer, Ukraine had laid a network of precision weaponry. Concealed anti-aircraft batteries positioned beneath camouflage nets, radar systems synchronized to detect even the faintest echoes of jet engines, and unmanned drones circling like patient predators high above the clouds. It was a deadly chessboard, each piece arranged to create a kill zone invisible to the untrained eye. Russian jets, believing they had the advantage of altitude and speed, crossed this threshold unaware that the trap had already closed around them. As the first blips appeared on Ukrainian radar screens, the trap was sprung. A ripple of commands swept through encrypted channels, and in a coordinated instant, missiles streaked upward with fiery tails, slicing through the sky with a precision that betrayed years of preparation. Russian fighters banked hard, engines roaring as countermeasures fired in desperation, but it was already too late. The first jet exploded in a blossom of flame, its wings torn apart, its engine shearing off in a cascade of molten shrapnel. Another followed within seconds, struck through the fuselage, spiraling downward in a trail of smoke that scarred the horizon. The kill zone had been activated, and in those few harrowing minutes, Russian air power suffered a blow it had not anticipated. Performance in this moment was everything. The success of this ambush was not born of luck, but of flawless timing and engineering. Ukrainian air defense systems locked onto their targets in seconds, missiles homing with near-perfect accuracy. Drones relayed real-time footage to command posts, confirming identifications and adjusting firing solutions on the fly. The synchronization between radar detection, missile guidance, and operator control was seamless, like a well-rehearsed symphony of destruction. Each element performed its role with lethal efficiency, leaving no room for hesitation. For the Russian pilots caught in this storm, there was no time to recover, no opportunity to deploy evasive maneuvers effectively. Their speed, once their greatest advantage, became irrelevant against the coordinated precision that awaited them. Inside the cockpit of one of those doomed Russian fighters, the story takes on a far more harrowing texture. The interior of a modern jet is a marvel of engineering. Banks of displays glowing with data, control sticks responsive to the subtlest touch, warning lights ready to flash at the first hint of trouble. But in that fateful moment, it became a claustrophobic prison of alarms and failure. As missile lock warnings screamed in the pilot's headset, the once calculated breathing became ragged. The pilot's hands, trained through years of flight hours to respond calmly, now moved with desperate urgency, fingers dancing across switches, attempting countermeasure deployment, flares igniting behind the aircraft like frantic fireflies. The airframe shuddered as the missile's shockwave hit, instruments flickered, the canopy cracked with the force of impact. Smoke filled the cabin, reducing visibility to a choking haze. The pilot's world narrowed to a tunnel of warning sirens, flashing red indicators, and the looming inevitability of a doomed descent. Even the ejection handle, once a symbol of lastres or salvation, became meaningless in that moment as flames consumed the fuselage and structural failure raced through the jet's spine. This is where the myth of safety features meets the reality of modern high-intensity warfare. Russian jets are equipped with advanced ejection systems, thermal shielding for pilots, and redundant avionics designed to withstand combat damage, but an ambush executed with such proximity and precision allows little room for these systems to function as intended. The heat of missile impact can disable critical circuits. Explosive shockwaves can jam canopy separation mechanisms, and the short reaction window leaves pilots with no margin for error. In this deadly dance, the safety features that were meant to guarantee survival became tragic reminders of how fragile those guarantees truly are when faced with calculated destruction. Beyond the immediate destruction lies the strategic brilliance, the unique selling points of this operation. Ukraine's ambush was not a random strike, it was a carefully crafted demonstration of layered defense and intelligence fusion. By combining ground-based radar, mobile missile platforms, and persistent drone surveillance, Ukraine created a multi-domain trap that adapted in real time. This was warfare as an algorithm, each variable accounted for, each pathway anticipated, each escape route sealed. The result was not only the physical elimination of enemy aircraft, but also a psychological ripple effect that would echo far beyond the battlefield. Russian pilots, once accustomed to flying with near impunity, were now forced to question every flight path, every sortie, every mission. Commanders had to recalibrate strategies, divert resources to protect assets that had once been considered untouchable. The airspace, once dominated by one side, became contested again. The cost of this operation is measured in many currencies, not just financial. On one side, the destruction of several advanced Russian aircraft represents a financial loss in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. Each fighter jet lost is a culmination of engineering, labor, and material investment that vanishes in a burst of flame. On the other side, Ukraine expended valuable missiles, drone hours, and the risk of revealing tactical positions. But the human cost overshadows both. Pilots, highly trained, often young, with families waiting at home, perished in the firestorm. Ukrainian crews, while victorious, bore witness to the harsh reality of their success, that every strike exacts a toll in lives and futures. Yet, in the calculus of survival and sovereignty, Ukraine deemed this price necessary. To allow unchecked enemy dominance of the skies would invite greater destruction upon their cities, their soldiers, and their civilians. As the smoke cleared and the echoes of the explosions faded, the battlefield changed. Wreckage smoldered in the fields below, scattered wings and charred engines marking the spots where machines of war fell from the sky. Ukrainian forces quickly relocated their mobile systems, understanding that retaliation might follow. Drones circled to assess damage, capturing footage that would later serve as proof of the strike's success and as a signal to allies and adversaries alike. Ukraine could still shape the battlefield from the ground up. For Russian command, the aftermath was a bitter pill. Reports flooded in, each confirming a blow to morale, each detailing the vulnerability of their once dominant air fleet. What makes this event truly remarkable is not just the destruction it caused, but the message it sent. Air superiority, long considered a cornerstone of modern warfare, is not invincible. Precision, planning, and the will to act can pierce even the most fortified dominance. This ambush was a statement of intent, that Ukraine, despite the odds, retains the capability to strike back with devastating effect. For the international community watching from afar, it became a case study in asymmetric warfare, how a nation leveraging technology, intelligence, and timing can offset the brute strength of a larger adversary. There is also a deeper layer to this story, the psychological theater of war. Pilots who once took to the skies with confidence now fly with a shadow of doubt. Commanders who once drew lines on maps with bold certainty now hesitate, recalculating every move. Civilians under the flight paths of these aircraft feel a measure of vindication, knowing that their defenders are not powerless. In war, morale is as critical as ammunition, and this strike delivered both a tactical and emotional victory for Ukraine. In the grand ledger of this conflict, the ambush stands as a turning point. It did not end the war, nor did it erase the threats that remain, but it shifted the narrative. It proved that even in the darkest chapters, a single, well-placed action can illuminate the path forward. The exterior may have looked calm, the interior may have been a chamber of chaos, the performance may have been a masterstroke, and the safety measures may have failed, but the outcome was a reminder that resolve, intelligence, and precision still matter. As the world reflects on this event, one cannot ignore the duality it represents, triumph for some, tragedy for others. The price paid will echo in the memories of those who fought, those who fell, and those who witnessed it. For Ukraine, it is a rallying cry, a proof of capability, and a signal to allies that their support yields tangible results. For Russia, it is a wound to pride and strategy that will demand answers, adjustments, and perhaps vengeance. And so, we conclude this chapter with the understanding that war is as much about the moments that pierce the veil of inevitability as it is about the grinding attrition of days and weeks. Ukraine's deadly ambush, executed in one decisive strike, did not just crush Russian airpower in that moment, it rewrote expectations, redrew risk maps, and reignited belief in resistance. The skies, once a realm of unchecked domination, now bear scars that tell a different story, one of defiance, ingenuity, and the high cost of both victory and defeat.